Hello there and welcome to AIDS 2024 from Munich, Germany. I'm Karl Schmid and this is the International AIDS Society and Plus Lives AIDS 2024 Daily Kickoff, coming to you live from the Global Village. It's the part of the conference. Over the next 5 days, we're going to be here every morning at around 8:30 Central European Summer Time and available on demand, breaking news, delivering you breaking news and giving you interviews with those who are attending AIDS 2024. Lots and lots of great things happening. Now, it might just be day one of the conference, but the weekend kicked off really strong with pre-conference meetings and the opening of the Global Village. We'll bring you those highlights in just a moment, along with our special guests who are joining me in the Plus Life studio, IAS President Sharon Lewin, activist Davina Connor, and the internationally adored content creator Zack Willmore. We're going to be chatting about this year's theme, putting people first. It's the theme of this year's conference. But first, let's take a look at some of the moments from this weekend here at AIDS 2024. What better way to start a conference with the theme of putting people first than with a gathering of people living with HIV? Living 2024 took a deep dive into the U equals U, undetectable equals untransmittable movement, from a grassroots campaign to a global mandate.
What we're seeing is that more and more people are understanding the power of U equals U, not only for people living with HIV, not only for our lives so that we can live and love and have babies without any fear, but also for all 95 targets, for our goals to end the epidemic.
Equally important, the Unite, Advocate, Thrive Global Trans Conference also took place with the aim of addressing the notable lack of trans and other gender diverse specific strategies in the global response to HIV.
It is essential that we put and give life to policies that give us voice and a place at the table to be part of decision making.
Where I put my hope today and where our collective effort should be going right now is to ensure that by 2030 and beyond, the people who have the means to make the change are the people most affected by HIV, key populations among other population, trans and gender diverse people.
Youth from around 25 countries have gathered here to be a part of AIDS 2024 Munich Youth Force. Their pre-conference themes outlined a supportive path for young leaders to start and continue their HIV advocacy.
Being a youth activist, being a young leader, and also working for the global network of young people living with HIV has been a fulfilling life mission for me. Because I get to share my life story, I get to share my lived experience, and I also get to share my expertise when it comes to programming for myself and others like me from all over the world and from all walks of life.
Thanks to breakthroughs in science and medicine, people are living longer, healthier lives with HIV. Models of care for people aging with HIV was in the spotlight.
People aging with HIV are often forgotten, so I think we need to shine a lens onto that older group of people that sometimes could be missed and who often have very complex and specific needs.
For many of us as we grow older with HIV, HIV itself isn't the problem, it's the other issues. So I'm really pleased to see today that the healthcare professionals were discussing these other issues and actually making time for conversations around that. And we need more of that.
And one of the big highlights of the weekend was the opening ceremony of the Global Village. Often described as the heart of the AIDS conference, and now in its 20th year, it's where communities from all over the world connect, share, and learn from each other. And it's free and open to the public.
The Global Village has been an integral part of the International AIDS Conference since 2004, which took place in Bangkok, which means that excitingly this year we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Global Village.
It is a place where communities come, they celebrate, they do a lot of exhibition, a lot of informative things are there which one can visit and see.
Just to meet someone that's doing something similar or the same thing in their community, which may bring different values, is just so much warmth because you know you're not in this world doing it by yourself.
People fighting for the same cause, speaking about the same thing, so we're all linked and we're all joined together.
So, as you can see, there has already been a lot going on here at AIDS 2024, and we're just getting started. Here's a look at what we're expecting on day one.
AIDS 2018 was a pivotal moment for the U=U movement at the conference in Amsterdam. The messaging of undetectable equals untransmittable has been a game changer and a lifesaver for so many people living with HIV. This year, class is in session with the first ever U=U University.
I'm really excited about seeing more and more advocates taking this on as a tool in advocacy in order to really expand health equity.
This U=U University, even though it's embedded in a community message, is an opportunity to bring us all together in one place to learn about U=U for different populations, for diverse geographies, and to adapt it.
How can strong leadership and smart investment help reduce HIV-related stigma and discrimination? That and other questions will be answered at a special session organised by the International AIDS Society in collaboration with the Global Partnership for Action to Eliminate All Forms of HIV-related Stigma.
Those conversations are important because it really gives us a view of what IAS is thinking about when it says that they're putting people first and how they are putting people first. I think living with HIV, it's important for me and other people in our community to know and to challenge them.
And AIDS 2024 will officially be opened with the opening ceremony taking place later this afternoon.
I think it's going to be a great ceremony because we have great people on stage. It is a huge room, so we have a lot of spectators, and the Chancellor of Germany is going to attend as well. He's going to be on stage as well. So I think overall it's going to be a very classy, very glamorous opening.
I can't wait for the opening ceremony. I'm very excited about it, and I know somebody else who will be quite excited about that, IAS President Sharon Lewin. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
What can you give us a little tease of the opening ceremony?
Well, some great entertainment, local Bavarian gay dancers, very cool, in a sort of lederhosen outfit, and the Chancellor of Germany.
But yeah, I mean,
so that's
good. Some pretty big guests. And speaking of big guests, joining IAS President Sharon Lewin, I've got the adorable Zack Willmore. Welcome. And Dee Connor. Lovely to have you here. I'm so glad you are here for our very first show. The theme this year of the conference is putting people first. Sharon, how did you come up with this theme? Why?
This theme is a great theme to focus our efforts right now, and that is because we have science that can make a huge difference to treating and preventing HIV, but we need people at the centre of the response because we need to have people fighting for human rights and all the barriers that we currently have to getting access to the things that we know work.
Yeah, and you know, Dee, as an activist, someone living with HIV, a big champion of the U=U movement, when you hear Sharon say that, how important is that for you and the idea that we need to be put first, those of us living with HIV?
No, it's so important. Thank you for using that as a theme. Putting people first, living with HIV, it's our health. Our health comes first. That's number one, is our health. Our health, prioritizing people who live with HIV. And when I say prioritizing, it's because it doesn't seem that we're getting prioritized like we need to. So when you put us first, you're putting us first when it comes to our health. You're putting us first when we're taking our medication. If we don't take our medication, we can't live healthy lives. And of course, I'm going to speak a little bit about U=U because that falls into that.
Absolutely.
When I think about it. And if we're not talking about U=U with people who live with HIV, how can we get to ending or lessening the transmissions of HIV?
So important. Hey, Zack, this is your first conference.
Yes, it is.
Welcome to Munich.
Thank you.
I followed your journey on the aeroplane. Your hair never looks bad. Your hair is always perfect.
You are so sweet. Thank you.
Honestly, check the socials. But for you, what does it mean to be here? You know, you've been really vocal since you were diagnosed with HIV. What does it mean to now be a part of this giant conference?
It honestly, I feel the energy radiating as soon as I step into the building. There's so many powerful, so many wonderful people here. It's such an honor to be here. I never in a million years thought that by publicly sharing my journey that I would have an experience like this. It's more than money can ever buy because the experiences, the people that I'm meeting here are just so, they're just so amazing.
Yeah, and especially here in the global village. Zack, you know, we say at Plus Life all the time, we're turning positive into a plus. for you on this journey, how has that been? How are you enjoying the positive into a plus experience and living proudly and openly with your status?
Living proudly and coming out with my status has been probably one of the best things that I've done for myself. Originally when I was keeping it to myself, which wasn't very long, but it was hard because I felt like people were already suspecting something. I felt like I was trying to keep something inside of me. It was so much harder. And through speaking my journey, I've met so many people who have also shared their stories with me. It's made it so much easier for me to come to terms and for me to process this diagnosis. But also, it's been nice to feel almost a part of a community. And through opening up, I really have met some amazing people that otherwise I would never have.
Yeah, Davina, you can relate, right?
Yes, I can. I can.
Sharon, you are coming to the end of your presidency of IAS. And I want to say, as somebody as living with HIV and having witnessed your presidency, I really do feel like you have put people first, not just about this conference, but since you stepped into your role. Is that what you hope your legacy will be? What do you hope your legacy will be as you hand over the reins?
Yeah, well, I've been president for 2 years, not a long time, and I've come into a fantastic organisation, as you've heard from Zack, that do some incredible events, and beyond that, really work hard to convene, educate and advocate. That's what we do. But over the course of my presidency, we've really elevated the issue of people first language, which means using language like, sounds simple, but people with HIV or living with HIV, not HIV infected people. And we've just turned around the way, of course, community have always thought like this, but for scientists and leaders and policymakers. And the other, I think, big thing during my presidency was changing our policy of how we run our conferences to make sure that we actually circle the globe and hold meetings where people are really affected by HIV. We're here in Munich largely because we're as close as we could get to Eastern Europe in a city that could hold a conference this size. I want to shine a light on what's happening in Eastern Europe, which is a disaster currently when it comes to HIV.
Yeah, with all the conflict that's going on. And, you know, we're so lucky. We talk about U equals U and we have access to our meds. Great. But what happens if suddenly war breaks out and you can't get your meds anymore? I mean, I think about that and it terrifies me.
Yeah, or even worse, you have policies that criminalise drug use, that criminalise gay sex, and all of that means that you can't get public health messages to people. Currently in Eastern Europe, only 50% of people are on antiretroviral therapy compared to 78% when you look across the world, or in a country like mine, 95%. So we've got to do better. And a lot of it is not about money, it's about people, and it's about discriminatory policies that criminalise and discriminate against people.
Yeah, well, and I think that is going to be something we're going to be hearing a lot of this week at the conference. What do you hope, when the conference is done, what do you hope people take away from it?
Well, number one, I hope people are inspired, that they are inspired to continue their work. This is what this conference does. I hope it puts HIV back on the agenda for policymakers, and I hope we can really turn around parts of the world where we're not doing well, and that is Eastern Europe and Central Asia and the Middle East and North Africa. And these are the two places where HIV infections are going up. Having said that, in other parts of the world, like the United States, it's a very diverse epidemic, and there are parts of the United States that are also not doing well. So these are things we want to turn around at the end of the conference.
Davina, what are you hoping for this experience? What do you hope to take away when you leave at the end of the week?
So when I come to conferences, I try to gain all the knowledge that I can so I could take it and take it back to my community. And just making those connections with people from other countries is a huge thing for me. Just coming together, you know, just coming together with other people with lived experiences.
Zack, what about you? What do you hope that you gain from this that you can share with your online audience of all those people that follow you?
I want to take in a broader experience. I want to take in all the knowledge. Piggybacking off of what Dee said, I am trying to go to as many events as I can just so I can soak it in. I want to share with people why it's important. As you probably know, in the US, there are more and more laws that are being passed right now about LGBT sex education specifically. So I want to show people back in the States why it's important and why it matters. Because at the end of the day, by educating people, we are saving lives.
Absolutely. Dee, any advice and Sharon, any advice for Zack, the newbie at the conference, on how to get the most out of the conference experience?
First of all, keep the same energy that you have. Don't change who you are. Like you just said, get all the knowledge you can, learn everything you need to learn, because that's what I did. And you're up for the stars after that. Just soak in everything. Soak it all in.
Yeah, I'd say be yourself, tell your story, and learn from others, inspired by others. But also, you're in an environment that you can soak up all this knowledge, simplify it, and speak to people that relate to you. They're going to, very different people will relate to you than to Dee than to me. So it all spreads the word. And the most important thing is that there are so much we can do for people living with HIV, and that people live normal, fabulous lives, as we're hearing right now on Plus Life.
Do you know what I say? I often get caught saying, I'm not ashamed to admit this, I have said in the past, I guess talking about the AIDS conference, but I end up saying AIDS festival. And I know that's sort of ridiculous, but to the point of it is a celebration too. It is something for us to feel festive about.
That's
and just
what it feels
listening to
like.
you talk about it then, I'm like, actually I don't feel so silly for sometimes saying AIDS festival, because I do feel that. I feel that coming together, we're all here experiencing this. It is joyful, and it is a celebration. Sharon, Zack, and also I love the fashion, but you want comfy shoes, because you are going to get a lot of steps in. You're going to get a lot of steps in.
Oh, what a great thinker I am. I actually only brought stilettos.
Well,
you'll have to go and buy some new shoes.
Your tush will look great by the end of it.
Thank you.
Sharon, Zack, thank you so much for taking the time and being part of our first daily kickoff show. I really appreciate it. That is going to do it for this morning's International AIDS Society and Plus Life's daily kickoff show. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow with the latest highlights from the next 24 hours here at the conference, as well as a roundtable discussion with some activists and influencers and how they're using their social media platforms to bring about change and fight HIV stigma. Now remember, if you want to share your thoughts on the discussion we just had or anything else related to the conference and HIV, be sure to like, follow and share us. We're at Plus Life Media across all social platforms, and you can use the hashtag AIDS2024PlusLife. And if you're here attending the conference, be sure to stop by the Plus Life studio here in the Global Village, where you can share your HIV story. We'd love to hear it. From me and the entire team here at Plus Life, I'm Karl Schmid. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.